So today we're going to be talking about kilesa, defilements. Very important subject because it's the main poisons in Buddhism, or the main rival that the Buddha cracked it, broke through. Basically, he attained enlightenment on two main things: dependent arising and nirvana, end of dependent arising chain. There are 12 links in the dependent arising. Start with ignorance. Sometimes avijja is kind of like in the group of delusion, greed-headed delusion, which is in this group, it's kind of like a soil. For the ignorance is like a soil for the poisonous plants of greed-headed delusion to grow on. So basically, it ends up with ignorance. Basically, this greed-headed delusion turned into this mental impulse, and result in maintaining the mental consciousness of the mindset, which is imagination, and tainted your sixth sense sphere, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, being tainted by perception of contact, feeling, they're all tainted. End up with craving and clinging, becoming your thoughts, and birth into the thoughts, whatever you like to be becoming. And when you didn't get it, you suffer because you have grief, sorrow, lamentation, grief, despair, sorrow, lamentation, and so on. When the thought ripe, it ceases to function. You end up with sorrow, lamentation, grief, despair, suffering. So it's like cycle go like this all the time until you see this break the linking chain anywhere in the linking chain. When you're unaware, this linking chain, you're absent-minded basically in the thoughts of the past or future. I didn't know the present is the result of this dependent arising. So unawareness, let it slip through, and until you gain self-awareness, like through your practice, you see you broke a chain and see the true nature of it is selfless and not self in nature, and end up with nirvana, in the ultimate peace and happiness. So that's why we need to meditate to see this thing, because we suffer our own thoughts. The biased thought kind of taint your mind. It's not the true nature of the mind. It's this greed, lopa, hatred, dosa, and delusion, moha. Sometimes delusion equates to that ignorance, avijja too, because you're being fooled by your own thoughts. And it taints your mind. It sneaks in with your thoughts and taint your mind, make you suffer. Buddha stated mind is luminous, but tainted with transitory mental impurities. Transitory, as you know, is transit through. It's not the true nature of the mind, but it transit through because you tainted your mind, become impure because of this greed-headed delusion that tainted your mind. So you need to meditate to reverse engineer, to catch this thought as it arises. So when you catch a thought die down, so it's greed-headed delusion cannot piggyback or sneak in with your thoughts. So the Buddha discovered that human is an advanced being. I think has been known even before the time of the Buddha that they can train their mind. It's an advanced being because capable of training oneself to perfection. But the Buddha is the one that discovered the truth, the ultimate truth, the Four Noble Truth, which is about truth of life, basically. Suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering, and middle path to end suffering. And he prescribed this, the core teaching of the Buddha, of Buddhism rather. So when he perfected his mind, there's evidence that when he got cremated, his bone become relics, like a round ball, shiny round ball, or like blood vessels in the top middle. I think you saw that because when they brought the relics here in I think 1994, when we moved here a couple of years, in some part of his bones or other. Yeah, those top 6 was taken from that. Were taken at the display at our temple. Rama Sopa Rinpoche let us loan us. Had a tour across U.S. and through to our temple. So we display a couple of days here, 3 days at Wash U and 3 days Webster U, 2 or 3 days each outside. And
have they ever gone out and done that again or not?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think
they were fundraising to build a stupa for the next Buddha, Sierra Metai. I think that's the goal was doing that. And the lower left panel was my collection from. It's one of the relics from the monks from Thailand.
That's your collection at the bottom?
Yeah, it used to be white grain of rice. I like grain of rice. 4 of them, but it became 5. It had 20 years turned into these gems, jewel, different colors, and become 4, become 5.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Which monks did you get, may I ask?
I tried to retrieve. So one of my friends gave me for 20 years, and I had been like this for the past 10 years. And Kasem, I don't know if you met him, is Sam and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy has a oxygen, she died.
Okay. Oh,
Sam gave it to me, and I called him back.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he got from his friend Kuson. He's a car engineer, what do you call auto mechanic? Yeah, auto mechanic, who got it from Wat Sutat in Bangkok. And he said he doesn't know who this belongs to, but it changed, and this amazed me.
Now, can you get one from, if you wanted to, could you get one from Kongsak Tanphaichitr?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't even have his.
or Ajahn Derek.
Yeah, I'm not sure who has that. Some of those lineage they may not turn because those come from the broke through wisdom.
Okay.
People that meditate a lot, do a lot of concentration meditation, sometimes their bone turn into this because a lot of mental power, concentration.
Okay. That kind of thing.
Like you keep X-raying your bone and turn it change. That's what people can theorize.
If they show up with you, you know you're in good shape.
Yeah, I don't know. So.
And please let me know. Email me. Let me know.
It's only 2 millimeter, but each one 2 millimeter.
Okay.
You know how small. So the Buddha described his teaching as core Buddhism, it's a lifelong learning. Learning in Buddhism, it means studying and practicing. See, that's different than other learning. Learning you have to study it, but put into practice. Otherwise, not a true learning. In Buddhism, meant like that. So that sum up as core Buddhism, the threefold training. And we talked about, like, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, about morality, avoid doing bad deed, do good deed, and purify your mind, which equate to morality. For avoid doing bad deed, like moral codes, and doing good deed, like doing any good deed, plus mind development or mental concentration to get mental strength to focus your mind. But purify your mind, the third one is unique to Buddhism. Through insight meditation, you gain wisdom. How do you gain it? Because you see and realize and perceive this three universal mark or characteristic of existence, of impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness, or not self, which is the key towards wisdom. To see the changing nature, nothing is static; it keeps changing. So it's learning life basically. Learn about yourself as we practice. Body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, the four aspects of life. Basically, you reflect the five group of existence, the five aggregates of existence of bodies like form, including sight, sound, smell, taste, such thoughts, through your eye, your nose, tongue, body, and mind. Feeling is, we meditate on feeling. Perception, we meditate with mindfulness and self-awareness, with pure mindful awareness. And mind, we meditate on the consciousness. And then mental phenomena is you meditate, see, catch your thoughts, good and bad things that happen in your mind, including your defilements. So the concept of lifelong learning that the Buddha described, Antidote, the 20th century concept of lifelong learning by 2,500 years, because the Buddha taught this 2,600 years ago. So to sum up, these three fundamental principles of avoid doing bad deed to do good deed is equal to a threefold training: morality, which is sila, concentration or samadhi, mind development, and wisdom or panya. So morality, concentration, and wisdom. And become three pillars in Buddhism, three essential doctrines. First one is doctrine of studying, true doctrine of study, like I mentioned, study and learning in Buddhism means not only study the script, you have to put into practice too. Either like from the point of morality and so on, upward to attain wisdom. So this textual aspect of the true doctrine, studying the text, scripture, Buddha's words, which is like a tree root. And then the second aspect is through doctrine of practice, Noble Eightfold Path, Middle Path, or threefold training of morality, concentration, and wisdom, or like a tree trunk. And then the third one is a true doctrine of realization, of penetration. It's the path and fruition, and nirvana. And you would think it would be nirvana, it's the main thing, but to get there, you need a path and fruition. There are 4 levels of enlightenment, from stream enter, once return and non-return, and the full enlightenment. So those people want to tread the path to attain fruition. In the final step, when they became full enlightened, then they attain nirvana at the same time. So it's the fruit to realize supramundane, lokuttara, through insight, meditation, see the true nature of things, three universal characteristics I mentioned of impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, and not self. unstable, unbearable, uncontrollable. So kilesa come to it, defilements that different levels. At the mundane level, at the lowest level, they are mundane. Vitikkama, basically, Vitikkama kilesa is a transgressive defilements or externally active defilements. So meaning coarse defilements that break out into bodily or verbally action, unwholesome deed in speech. And the second, the medium type, is Pariyuṭṭhāna kilesa. It meant obsessive defilements or internally active defilements. This is the one that disturb you in your meditation, kind of like swaying you from a concentrated mind, kind of rob you from a concentrated mind. So when you have this, you cannot attain concentrated mind. So your mind is not steady, basically, in layman terms. So meaning defilements that arise and dominate the mind, such as five hindrances. Yes, sometimes it says 5 mental corruptions. And but do not yet express themselves in action. It's kind of disturbing your root of your mind, your thoughts. And the finest type is called Anusaya kilesa, or latent defilements. It's a very subtle defilements that lie dormant in the mental continuum, not manifesting until conditions trigger them. It's like precipitant at the bottle, a fermented, liquor or whatever. So the Buddha prescribed this noble eightfold path or middle path as a way antidote to those poisons. Morality, concentration, and wisdom, a threefold training as we talk about. But that's in the social system, in the meditative practical aspect. Start with wisdom, right view, right thoughts. Because if you have wrong view, there's no point meditating. You're getting nowhere. You get into on the wrong side all the way through. So wisdom is right view, right thought. Right morality, like right speech, right action, right livelihood, and mental concentration, or mind development, mental discipline, is right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So these are the fourth noble truth, as you may recall, the middle path. So let's talk about the grossest kind, Vitikkama kilesa. So transgressive defilements or externally active defilements that express to you, break out into bodily or verbal actions, unwholesome deed and speech, like attack other people or elder, or being bullying other people. To attack them physically or verbally. So the antidote is morality to the grossest kind of defilements, right speech, right action, livelihood. And for the lay person, the Buddha prescribed these 5 basic precepts: no killing human and animals, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, and no intoxicant. Sometimes this is called more like a golden rule. They may have existed even before the Buddha time, these 5 precepts. In fact, today we just have engaged Buddhism, there were 4 out of the 5 that was incorporated along with other religion, like you kind of like respect other people's lives and other people property on the first and second, and the third one, kind of like no sexual harassment or any sexual advancement and so on. And the lying is being truthful to yourself and others. And the 5th one they adopted about 2013, about have to care for this earth. So it's your environment that you need to live in. So, but on Buddhism, there are these 5 precepts as the main goal. It's a golden rule from the old. There's some story about villagers, one village, like maybe 50 families, and then one guy start drinking, get lazy, so he broke into 5th one. And he keep lying, not doing anything, so he didn't go out farming, start stealing, get drunk, and kill others people chicken for his food, and advance into sexual misconduct and so on. So he got dispelled from the village. And then finally he behaved and asked for forgiveness and returned. So it's maybe a golden rule from the old days, you know. There you go. Because he lost his mindful awareness when he started drinking and getting lazy and so on. So the middle, the medium kind of defilements, Pariyuṭṭhāna, kilesa. It's obsessive defilements or internally active defilements. These are defilements that arise and dominate the mind, such as 5 hindrances. We talk about 5 mental corruptions, mental obstacles, but do not yet express themselves in action. They are mental obstacle or corruptions preventing the mind to get concentrated or tranquil. The example will go into that, like sensual desire, ill will. That's the first. Second is ill will. Third one, sloth and torpor. And 4th is restlessness and remorse. And the 5th is doubt. When you have this, you cannot get your mind concentrated, because you get busy doing other things in your meditation. And the second monk has a sensual desire, sensory desire, want a better food or more food. And the second one is ill will, and the first monk want to harm some other people. And the third one, sloth and torpor, is falling asleep there during the meditation. And the middle monk has the 4th one, restlessness and worrying or remorse. And the 5th one is doubt. The 4th monk is doubt. So he cannot get his mind concentrated, and you can see why when the picture explains it. So Buddha prescribed this mental concentration in the Noble Eightfold Path as a way as an antidote. So right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. When you have mindfulness, mindful awareness, you would gain right effort, and it will take you to right concentration. In fact, Luang Por Thien would say, normally we have this like right concentration as a norm, but we start manipulate it either through your practice or through your defilements. It kind of sway you off because you lost your right mindfulness or right self-awareness. Self-awareness is a righteous in the right noble eightfold path, in my opinion. It's kind of like it's the axis of the wheel that hold all the 8 spokes together. When you take self-awareness away, it collapses. That's why it becomes righteous, not leftist, or a wrong view. Noble eightfold path. So go into detail. These 5 hindrances, or nivarana, is different than nirvana. Nivarana, basically, essential desire in Pali called kamachanda, is craving for sensual pleasure through your sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch. So the 5 physical aspects, 5 sense sphere. So the primary antidote is not only through this right mindfulness, right concentration, and right effort. Asubha means you meditate on corpse, perception of unattractiveness. So you get your mind away from the sensual desire, like beautiful girl or handsome man and so on. Take it away. Explanation of the antidote, contemplation, the unattractiveness, and the unattractive nature of the body and sense objects. So weakens craving and attachment. So on the second one, nivarana is ill will. It's called payapata, ill will in Pali, payapata. It's aversion, anger, hatred, resentment. So what do? We're going to do at the end of this metta, loving kindness, radiation of loving kindness. It's antidote to this aversion or anger. So explanation of the antidote, cultivating goodwill and friendliness, directly dissolves anger and hostility. And then the third defilements, mental corruptions, is sloth and torpor. Basically, it's called tinamitta in Pali. Tinamitta is mental dullness, laziness, and sleepiness. Okay, like you get very drowsy, so your meditation won't be advanced properly. You have to put in more energy, right effort, like the 6 noble eightfold path, the 6 of the middle path, viriya, energy and effort, and then explanation of the antidote, because arousing energy through effort, reflection on urgency, posture, or light perception dispel heaviness. We talked about Moggallana before. He was getting drowsy, dozing off, and the Buddha came him to advise him how to do it. I think there were 7 or 8 kind, like you kind of recite what you have learned, or you go over what you have learned, the virtue you have learned, or recite it, or kind of wash your face, or touch your arms, or rub your face, or kind of use Q-tip for your ears to wake you up, or look at the star walking, and so on. And he said, also meditate on light, to see like it's like a bright light during the day, and make it, even at night, make it so bright like a daytime. And finally, if that nothing works, just go to bed, sleep. And then because it's useless to continue. And the fourth one is restlessness and worrying. Uttacha kukucha. It means agitation, remorse, mental scattering. The way to do it is to keep meditating. passaddhi, to calm your body and mind. A lot that we talk about, to meditate with bliss, with joy, lead to bliss, lead to calming body and mind. Allow happiness to arise, and happiness would lead to steady mind. So back to the steady mind. So calmness of body and mind settles agitation and quiets remorse. And the last one is doubt, Vitikkama, basically, is a skeptical uncertainty about the path, teacher, or practice. Like you may doubt what we are saying here. Is it true or not? Just put into practice. Okay, panya. Use your wisdom, investigate, understanding it as it is. So clear comprehension of Dharma and wise seeing the truth of nature, of impermanence, imperfection, selflessness. So that's the antidote. So there are more. Okay, the third one called Anusaya kilesa. Anusaya kilesa. It's latent defilements, meaning very subtle defilements that lie dormant in the mental continuum, not manifesting until conditions trigger them. It's just like a fermented liquid here in the bottle. The water used to be clear. Now it's tainted in the color. It could be orange juice or whatever. You keep it ferment. There's some crud or precipitant in the bottom. So whatever they ferment with is diffused into the liquid, which is the canker, asava, kilesa. It diffused in there. May leave a crud on the side as well. So it's diffused there. It tainted water already. And latent tendency, anusaya kilesa. That's like precipitant that need a lot of stirring to bring up your anger or whatever, your ego or whatever. So we talk about different 4 stages of awakening, 4 types of enlightened being in the past. First one is on the first column, Sodaban, stream enter. They further rebirth, there may be up to 7 rebirths in earthly or heavenly realms. There are like 6 heavenly realms, and below that is human realm. So it could be one of those 7 in that 7 lifetime. But Luang Por Kham Kien has a different idea. He said it's 7 cycle of thoughts. Maybe it's you slip through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No longer than 7. Your mindfulness will catch up. So basically, he abandoned 3 feathers, which is like a bondage. One is identity view, this 5 aggregate. A person is you or me. It's not a true. It's just conceptual. Like my name is Kongsak. It's just a person formed together. It's 5 aggregates of form, feeling, perception, thought, formation, and consciousness. You identify as Kongsak or Gus or whoever. So they see that the identity view is gone. They're not clinging to it tightly anymore. And doubt in the Buddha is gone. And third, not clinging to rituals or aesthetic rituals. Like you have to wear this red cap for the cardinal to win. You don't need that anymore. Okay, these are just a lower feather. There are 2 more. So the stream enter and once returner called Sakatakami only abandoned 3 feathers, 3 bondage. These 3 same, but they less defilements for the once return, because he can only come back once. But for Luang Por Kham Kien would be he only slipped through 1 thought cycle. not the second one. He caught it already. He caught the second thoughts. Because sometimes when, I keep mentioning, sometimes someone you love is sick in the hospital, you go to work, and your mind slip, think about him or her in the hospital. Your parent got sick, your children got sick. That's one thought cycle you slip through. And in the morning before you go to work, well, at work you slip a second time before lunch. At lunch you slip a third time. Afternoon you slip a few more times, but no more than 7. The 7th time you're at the hospital already. So it's like you caught the thought each time. No more than 7 times. So and the non-returner is called non-returner, anagami. They won't come back to this earth. It's too dirty or too gross. So they go up to the full enlightenment in the divine realm, divine heavenly realm. Okay, in the form divine realm up there, Brahma. Yeah. And then the last group is Arahant, full enlightenment. Anagami abandon 2 more bondage, fetter, sensual desire and ill will. So these 5 are the lower fetters of lower bondage. The Arahant, they have none out of 10. They're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 6 is desire for material rebirth. These are the higher than the heavenly realm. It's a form divine realm, material rebirth. And the 7th one, desire for immaterial rebirth. So, or the formless realm, formless divine realm. And no more self-conceit, no restlessness, and then is no avijja, no ignorance. The one that start the dependent arising, the ignorance. So he caught that. So what does it mean? On the right side said is morality, concentration, and wisdom that we talk about in the first few slides. The 3 mentor, they're perfect on morality, minimum on concentration, and minimum on wisdom. The once returner, perfect on morality, moderate in concentration, and minimum on wisdom. Then a non-returner, perfect on morality and perfect on concentration. They don't cling to the worldly thing anymore, but they're still moderate in wisdom. They still need the final enlightenment in the form divine realm. And then the last group is full enlightenment, the Arahant. They're perfect in all 3, morality, concentration, and wisdom. So now equate to this. And we talk about this is the subtle, the latent tendencies. When you break down their, so the first column we talk about the 10 fetters, 10 bondage. Okay. The second one is like the precipitant. There's 7 kind, Anusaya, like precipitant at the bottom of the bottle of the fermented wine, fermented liquor. So called Anusaya, Ditta, wrong view. Vitikkama, that means you have doubt. Okay, Anus. The third one, they skip that because it's the same as clinging to rituals. Ritual is another like wrong view. Okay, so they don't have that kind. It's the same. They clump into the same group as a wrong view. And then there Kamarakanusaya, that means lust for sensual pleasure, and patika or ill will is a repulsion. Patikkanusaya, Kamanusaya, Kamarakanusaya, and then Patickanusaya. So they have corresponding in this precipitant of this latent tendency. And then the 6 and 7, the form and formless divine realm, is under Bhava Rakanusaya. Bhava means another realm. So lust for becoming in that realm, either good side or more refined or something. Bhava Rakanusaya. Either the form or formless divine realm. So under this Bhava Rakanusaya. And Mananusaya is conceit, is the same. The precipitant of that. And Uttacha means the restlessness basically is under ignorance too, because you don't see your thought, your mind. And the 10th one is ignorance. You basically aviccanusaya. Basically you don't catch your thoughts. Basically, you being tainted by your ignorance. Ignorance in turn into avicca, become a fool by your biased thoughts. So, and the last column is like the canker, like the diffuse into the liquid is expressed in the wine itself, the fermented liquor. It's like canker. Like you ever get canker sore, it's the same thing. It hurt, okay? When you touch with any taste, basically. So they're much less. There are only four kinds. See, the precipitant, there are 7 kinds. On this canker, asava, there are 4, like titthasava, kamasava, pavasava, and avicchasava. So they lump into that. So you can see the stream enterer only get rid of the view, wrong view. So the canker of the view is gone, the yellow one. But they are the same kind, but it's different expression. And then also the once returner only get this yellow kind of canker. But the non-returner also get rid of the lust and repulsion, which is basically canker of sense desire on the positive side and negative side. Positive for sensual desire, negative side is for repulsion, for the lust and versus repulsion. And the full enlightened one, they get rid of 2 more. Pavasava, which is like another realm, becoming this realm and that realm, canker of a realm, the form and formless realm, a canker of conceit, being conceit, and the last 2 belong to the ignorance, canker of ignorance on avicca, which is the number 10, and the number 9 is restlessness, is dealing with thoughts, canker of ignorance. So basically, these latent defilements, sometimes you need being stirred up, and you look cool, but finally someone stir him up so bad, he broke through. He breaks, or she breaks. So this last latent tendency, you need the wisdom, right view, right thoughts from the middle path, Noble Eightfold Path, or middle path. By practicing insight meditation, you come to see impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness, or not self, unstable, unbearable, uncontrollable, the true nature of things, to gain wisdom through practicing the 4 foundations of mindfulness that we just did earlier. So basically, you practice 24/7 through observing your body movement. These 4 foundations called dynamic meditation by Luang Por Thien. So you can practice formally, like we just did. You can incorporate in your daily movement. You do any mundane movement like sweeping, cooking, washing, taking a bath, taking a breath, you can be aware of it. You can see the 4 foundations by observing your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. And with perseverance, cultivate this self-awareness, which is the sampachanya and mindfulness sati. Perseverance means 24/7 while you're awake. You put in effort, right effort all the time to observe your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, to get of desirable, undesirable nature that happen at your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. And through witnessing these 3 universal marks, because your mind get more energized through a concentrated mind, you can see, think clearly, see the true nature of thing, of impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, and come to realize this, all phenomena are not worth clinging to. That's what the Buddha taught Moggallana after he taught how to get rid of drowsiness, and said you should meditate that all phenomena are not worth clinging to, and became enlightened. On the 7th day after he became stream enterer, became fully enlightened. This will lead to insight, wisdom. See the burden that you keep carrying around of this ego or self-concept. Might get disenchanted, discerned, dispassionate, and release or liberate from suffering. So, just to sum up, the antidote is this Noble Eightfold Path or middle path to morality, concentration, and wisdom, according to the gross, middle, and the subtle form of defilements, which the Buddha described in the first sutra, the first sermon he gave, setting Dhamma wheel in motion, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, that this is the middle path realized by Tathagata. He referred to himself, the Buddha, called himself Tathagata. Tatha means thusness. Kata means the one who sees thusness. That thing are just like that, impermanent, imperfect, and selfless in nature, not self. It generates vision, generating insight, lead to peace, and lead to direct knowledge, a sammayana, and to self-awakening, samma vimutti, to extinguishment, pontuk, mean nirvana, attainment, attain enlightenment. So that's the 4th noble truth that need to be practiced to develop, to realize the bottom line there. Samma vimutti, self-awakening and extinguishment. And through self-awareness, that whole thing together. Oh, spoke of the wheel. You can't have one collapse. If you miss one spoke, the wheel collapse. So you need all 3, morality, concentration, wisdom. And self-awareness is the one that we talk about. Kids over 2 years old can know themselves, see picture and they see the image in the mirror and know it's their own image. So it's elephant, bottlenose dolphin, chimpanzee, and magpie bird. Magpie bird also know that because you put a dot on their chest and they look at the mirror, they would use their leg to scratch it off. They would bend their leg to scratch up the dot in the mirror. So they have a self-concept there. And need self to see not self, because for there is suffering, but none who suffer. มีทุกข์แต่ปราศจากผู้ทุกข์ Doing exists although there is no doer. มีการกระทำแต่ไม่มีผู้กระทำ Extinction is but no extinguished person. Or liberation is but no liberated person. มีการหลุดพ้นแต่ไม่มีผู้หลุดพ้น I couldn't translate extinction is but no extinguisher. That would be different meaning. So I didn't translate like that. So it's a liberation is but no liberated person. Although there is a path, there is no goer. มีทางแต่ไม่มีผู้เดิน This is from Visuddhimagga. So when you read all that, you get confused. What do you mean by all that? Because the mind itself is also selfless, not self. So หลวงพ่อคำเขียน would say ไม่มีไม่เป็นอะไรกับอะไร I mean not being anything to anything. I mean there's a contact, there's perception, but nothing happened. Like a cut rope. It doesn't sway you into dragging into those 3 levels of defilements. And หลวงปู่ดูล would say, see the mind, kill the mind. พบจิตให้ทำลายจิตพบผู้รู้ทำลายผู้รู้ see the knower, kill the knower. To reach the absolute purity. I mean the mind itself is also ego. So you need to kill the mind. As หลวงปู่ดูลอตุโล The Zen also say, if you see the Buddha on the road, kill him. This is a common Zen expression. In fact, หลวงปู่ดูล did say something like that, but the one that heard his teaching 10 days before he died, he did not want to put that in there. It's too aggressive to kill the Buddha. So
That's a good book, by the way.
All right.
Written by that.
There's a book by that name, I know.
If you meet Buddha on the road, yeah, it's a good book.
I think that's by the Korean Zen patriarch.
Yeah. Great book.
Yeah, he's very young patriarch, number 48 or something. But on China, they said they end at number 6. But because he didn't appoint a number 7, because it's too much problem. People try to ride off to get the rope and the bowl, the signature of the patriarch. So basically, this is just tell you, mind is also selfless, not self in nature. So the final step of enlightenment, you have to go through this, to drop the ego in the mind, or self in the mind itself is selfless in nature. And that's it for today.